Guys, it's me, it's Queen Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Now, I was talking to someone last night, and she told me that she's been on her spiritual journey for a while. She's been doing the 90-day meditation challenge, and she's been reading books and just kind of understand where her understanding is of spirit and spirituality, trying to get a good grip on what she really does think, because she's really not certain. And she said to me, one of the things that has been really weird to her is that over the past month, since we've been doing the meditation challenge, and she said she's also been doing some yoga, she's noticed that she's been seeing repetition. She's been seeing things like 111, 333, 444, 1111, like these number sequences. She's also said that really strange coincidences keep happening. Like somebody will say something to her that she was just talking to someone else about who's unrelated. And she's like, or I'll be talking to somebody about something I want to learn spiritually, and then suddenly, I go into a coffee shop and a book falls at my feet about that topic, and she's like, these little weird things have been happening like consistently, and she's like, I've been noticing them. At first she said she thought they were just coincidence and she brushed them off. But one of the things I always tell people is there's no such thing as coincidence. So she said that after they kept happening, she started to wonder what is going on here. So she asked me about it, and I'm like, that's called synchronicity. It's something, it's like signs and symbols and numbers and patterns, and basically it's messages from the universe, it's messages from the spirit world. Because remember, the universe works in it works in numbers, number one, and it works in patterns. So when you're seeing something like, for instance, 333 or something like that, you're getting a message from the universe. And it's actually kind of simple at this point, because lots of people have already, figured these out. So you can go online. There's a book called Angel Numbers. And it tells you in the book, when you see a certain sequence of numbers, what it means. For example, if you see 1111, according to the studies that I've looked at, 1111 means angels. It means spirit guides. It means your intuition is opening up. It's a sign to you. So if you're seeing 1111 all the place, that's what it's talking about. The other day, I noticed that I had been seeing 333. Now, mind you, I knew about these number sequences. People have said this to me for a long time, so I knew this happened. But I never really had it happen to me until recently. And I noticed it because I kept seeing 333. I woke up at 333 in the morning. My videos that day, I had 333 videos. Like, it was like that whole day I kept seeing 333. And I was like, what is this about? And when I looked it up, it was all about what was happening in my life at that moment and what was getting ready to happen. And 3 is one of my lucky numbers. So it was talking all about the correlation of that. So when you're seeing things like that, you're getting messages. It's not a coincidence. You're 100% correct. I don't believe in coincidences, period. I think that they can happen based on probability sometimes, just by the law of the averages. But I think most of the time, what we think are coincidences are not. I think that they are messages from the universe, or they are intuitive senses, or something along those lines. So when it comes to numbers, that's what that means. I'll give you another example of synchronicity. The other day, I figured out that I needed honey. So I want to do this honey jar it's a spell. It's a honey jar spell. And this particular one is to draw love into your life. So I said to myself, okay, I need this honey for this spell. And I have a little bit of honey, but not enough for the spell. So I said to myself, that was like a Thursday. It was Thursday. It was a Thursday that just passed, as a matter of fact. And I was like, I need honey for this spell. So I told myself, okay, put it on the list, and I moved on. Friday, I'm sitting in a restaurant in the middle of Santa Ana, Costa Rica, and I'm eating, and a woman walks up and says something to me in Spanish. I had no idea what she was talking about. Now, usually I would have said something polite and just kept eating, but I said to the waiter who was who was walking towards us, I said, "What did she say?" Because he spoke English. And he said, "She says she's selling honey, organic, 100% honey." And she pulled out the bottle of honey. She had like several of them. And I was like, "How much is it?" Because I knew right then and there. I was like, God has got jokes, I knew right then and there that honey was for me. And I bought this huge bottle of honey, for way less money than it would have cost me if I had went to the Auto Mercado. So these kind of things, people will say, "Oh, that's just a coincidence." Really? I don't believe that. That's what I'm talking about, synchronicity. And so these kind of things will happen. Like this happens to me all the time. These kind of things happen to me all the time. So I'm just at this point in my life, I just smile when it happens. And I'm just like, okay, Goddess, I got you. I got you. Thank you. And now I have this big bottle of honey. I got enough honey to do 1,000,000 honey jars. That bottle is huge. I could probably do 5 honey jars with that bottle. So I have this big bottle of honey. So I'm really pleased with that. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that synchronicity that happens. And so you see things and you experience things. Or like I'm talking about, I want to go to this workshop. And the next thing I know, somebody calls me and say, "Hey, I got tickets to the workshop. Do you want to go?" That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. When I first wanted to come to Costa Rica and I was still doing research on Costa Rica and all that kind of stuff, I had said one day I want to go visit Costa Rica. Didn't have money at the time. I didn't know how I was going to visit Costa Rica. I've just said it out loud. I want to visit Costa Rica. I want to see if my vision and the place match. And then a couple of days later, a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, want to go to Costa Rica?" She had buddy passes and she works for the airline. So that's how I came to Costa Rica the first time. But it was like this big, like what other people would call a coincidence. But what it really was synchronicity, because this is where I was supposed to come to. See? So it's amazing to me, like how these little things happen, but I'm so used to them. And when you are new into the spirit world, when you're new into meditation and magic and things like that, when these kind of things happen, you're like freaked out, like Twilight Zone. But really, that's all it is. So if you're seeing things like this or experiencing things like this, no, you're not crazy. It's the universe. The universe is communicating with you. It's letting you know what's right, what's wrong, which way to go, what's up. It's letting you know through these coincidences that you're on the right path and keep going. And likewise, when you're not on the right path, the universe will let you know. And they'll let you know, what to do. But you got to be paying attention. Look out for these synchronicities. Look out for number sequences. Look out for symbols. Look out for animals too. Because the repetition of a certain kind of animal could mean something. Different animals have different spiritual correlations. So if you keep on seeing a raven, or if you keep on experiencing cats, like my whole life have experienced cats. And the Native Americans will tell you that you have animal totems, and these animals are like spiritual, guides and protectors. So we all have those as well. So if you're noticing, geometric shapes, those mean something too. You just have to look it up online. I remember one time I was at Valley Green. Valley Green is a wooded area in Philadelphia. It's part of Fairmount Park. And I used to go there and do magic. I used to go there and hang out. I used to always go there. I loved Valley Green. And one day I was hiking through Valley Green and I was coming around a bend and I was by myself and I saw a lion up like on the, and I was like, and I ran, like I ran. Now, what makes me think I could outrun a lion? I'll never know, but I ran. And then when I got like halfway down the road, something in me said, "Turn around." And I looked and there was no lion. No lion chasing me, no lion up on that rock. It was no lion. So I came back around the bend, no lion. I went on with my hike and I was like, that's really strange. So then I got back to my home and I was reading this book. And the book was called something about ascended masters and angels or something. And I was reading the book, and I was reading about this angel, and it said the symbol for this angel is the lion. And I was like, I just saw a lion today. Like, it just like clicked in my head, like the lion. That was the angel. And then I looked down to see what messages came from this particular angel, and she was talking about what was happening in my life. And talking about, it was all about magic and opening up to your spiritual abilities and your psychic abilities. And I was like, oh my God, that's why I saw that lion today. And it was the same day. Like, it blew my mind open. But it's like I said, these are those synchronicities, and these synchronicities have a message for you. And that message that day was about my spirituality and to keep digging, to keep growing. Now, this was a long time ago. I was still teaching high school when this happened. So we're talking like over a decade ago, maybe. At the beginning of my career. So this is a long time ago. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, you know? So if you're seeing things like that, that's what you're seeing. You're getting messages. All you have to do is come back and look up what these messages mean. What does the symbol mean? Because all of this is in a book somewhere. And when I just Googled it, thousands of things came up, and I just followed the leads until I found what made sense. You know, it's the same thing when you have dreams. The symbols are sometimes universal. So if you're seeing things like this, take your time and write them down and figure out what they're trying to tell you. Because these synchronicities are either telling you to keep going, or they're giving you an idea about something. They're telling you a different way to go. They're telling you something, but it's up to you to find out what is telling you. Okay? See you later.